So our next guest is, when I had the vision for the Global Vision Conference. When you have a vision, you share it with people that are going to hold it in a safe place. They're going to stand with you. They're not going to be the first ones judge it. How are you going to do it? What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Someone that stands with you. Stand here. We got the word is now the cosmic twins have cosmically put the word in my mouth. Their father working, Stefan, cosmically standing together. He stood with me. The first one in this vision of a Global Vision Conference, he said, "Oh my goodness, you're going to give birth." It was going to be 9 months to the conference. He said, "Johnny, you're giving birth to your child. The Global Vision Conference is your child." And he was the first one I've told. He has been a supporter and a stander of people's visions for as long as I have known him. And he's the dearest brother, soul friend, comrade, and teammate. And I'd like to welcome to the Global Vision Conference, Tim Pedersen.
Hey.
There he is. Tim.
I'm listening to my introduction and it's like a delay. So then I'm like, well, I want to hear the rest of it.
Can you, all right. Well, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Well, okay. I'll do it over. Cadell, they know that part, but how many times did you pick me up? How many times when I didn't see my vision is going to become a reality, or I got depressed, or I couldn't, you stood with me. You stood with me year in, year out, and here we are. We're making visions happen. You know what? One thing I forget to do is take care of myself. I stand with other people's visions and I forget to take care of myself. And you have stood with me, and you have taught me how to eat properly and nutrition and to take care of my body. And you are now Tim is the epic dad warrior, epic dad. He teaches, he changes people's lives. So, I can keep going on, but let's, have you share what is your vision.
Just keep going on. That's good.
Okay. I'll go. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead, Jody. Yes. Go ahead.
At the Global Vision Conference, the live event, Tim, your presentation, your message was one of my favorites. So powerful. It really, really was. And so I'm so glad you're here with us today. And I want to hear a little bit about you. So tell us a little about you. Introduce yourself to everyone here, and tell us where your vision started for you.
Wow. So lots of passion happening today. So I've just been listening to this all day, and it's definitely been movies and popcorn and passion. I think it needs to be branded for that. So so my name is Tim Pedersen. I have a company called Dad Bod Warrior, and I'm also working on a new brand called, you're going to hear it here first, Epic Dad. So introducing to the world dads that step up and do epic things, where it's probably just the what we do on a normal basis, but things that make huge impact in our kids' lives. And in this world, we what you focus on expands, and that is being put out there by media. Like, we have our own little bubbles and worlds of positivity, and I love to live in that. And I surround myself with people that meditate and think positive and have affirmations, and so I don't listen to the news. I heard that we were opening up. I heard things were happening. I have no idea anymore of what any of that negative and all that stuff is. And so, we constantly hear about deadbeat dads and dads, this and dads that don't live up and, are in jail. And there's so many amazing guys out there that are stepping up and are doing amazing things. And that I want people to draw inspiration from. I want dads to see that, to hear that, and be inspired by that. So that's going to be another division and part of Dad Bod Warrior. And so my journey with this and passion came out.
Can I just say, Tim, I love this, because it's like there are so many moms groups out there, and we needed a response. Like, men need to be recognized and honored, and like really there are so many gifts that I think really deserve and need to be spoken about more, about our dads, our fathers, the fathers, you know, the role that they play in child rearing, where of course the mothers are so much the caregivers, but the dads have their own special gifts.
Exactly. And so where the whole dad bod warrior came from, as I was going through my divorce, as I was probably lacking in self-care. And, you know, Johnny talks about, you know, me picking him up. He really helped me get out of a dark place. I was not clinically depressed. I wasn't at the doctor talking about it. I just lived in this dark hole. And I know a lot of men that do that. And the suicide rates will prove that that's happening everywhere. We sit and wallow or deal with this on our own. We don't speak out. And Johnny really helped me get out of that. And as I was going through that, I made this commitment to just getting out there, to going to conferences. And I do marketing and branding. And so I was going to marketing conferences and out there constantly. And I was already doing CrossFit, and I knew that there was something missing. So I was getting certified as a integrative nutrition and health coach, because there was so much more to it. And I always knew that. I mean, I've done bodybuilding, and I've tried to remain fit, but I had gotten the dad bod myself. I wasn't taking care of myself. And what I realized, listening to a conference in my head as I was flying back, was create something that you wish was there when you needed it. And the big word, it's still out there, but the big word was, dad bods, and dad bods are sexy, and dad bod this and dad bod that. And what a dad bod is a guy who, at one point was fit and out there looking for, and trying to attract, his perfect mate. And, he's been working on his body, and he looks good, and, the hair, and like going to the gym, and then, they find someone and they go to the gym a little bit less, and then they have kids and they have less and less and less time, and they get what is called the dad bod. So they've got, that layer of fat. And men, unfortunately, we're not very efficient with our fat, or maybe we are too efficient. What we do is we find a spot inside our body and we just like stuff it in there. So it's called visceral fat. And so here they're saying the dad bod is sexy and women love the dad bod, and like those men are softer to lay on. Well, it's actually killing us. Like let's be real. It's killing us, because that visceral fat is around all our organs. It's constricting our organs. Our livers are fatty. A fatty liver is like one of the worst things to have. And it was killing me to keep hearing, women prefer the dad bod. And okay, women prefer their men to die 30 years before they should. Okay, that's telling. But they weren't. That's not. That's so. So that's where dad bod warrior came from. It's like, okay, I've got the dad bod. How to, we're typically not happy with ourselves when we have that dad bod, and we want to not have it. We want to be able to play with our kids. And what I've really, really started to fall in love with is the idea of longevity. And it's not just about living longer or adding years to our life. It's adding life to our years. And I wish I had coined that phrase. I don't know who did, but it's such a powerful statement. It's like we have
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you. I knew Johnny would know. So I'm going to write that down. And, so we have people living to their 90s, but for the last 15, even more years of their life, they've been in decline. And those last few years are in a nursing home. And now, with where we are now, those people are in these time bombs of the virus. And you hear where there's just multiple deaths daily at some of these senior care centers. And the last thing that, the last burden that I want to do, the last thing that I want to leave for my kid is not that. What's that?
A blue angel, fly over.
Oh, wow, look at that. Right now.
In honor of you, Tim. In honor of you.
The Blue Angels.
They're flying over right now in honor of you and the Global Vision Conference. And again, I'm interrupting just like I interrupted the Cosmic Twins. This message needs to get out. Yeah. Men don't know. We are warriors without the right fuel. And we don't know why we get depressed. Until I hired you and you coached me, I was addicted to sugar and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. It's in corn syrup. It's in coffee. It's in everywhere. It's corn syrup, sugar, and I didn't know why I got depressed. And it was you got me. It took a weekend to get me off of my addiction to sugar. And my people used to think I was bipolar because I'm so high. And you have been able to get me off this addiction. So men need this song that you're singing. Please keep singing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, those last few years of our life were spent now in that complete decline, and I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. And I want my ending to be stepping in front of that bus as I'm training for the next Spartan race at 90, and someone hits me at that point. Like, that's how I want it to be. And so yeah, there's so many things there. Like, we think that we have to go to the gym to be fit. Well, guess what? I wanted the world to see that they didn't have to go to the gym to be fit. And I guess this whole thing is my fault because everyone's doing home workouts now. So we're all learning, including me, because I hate doing home workouts. I love going to the gym. That's always been like my place to go. And Victor used to work with me, and he knows I would be at the gym in the morning, and then I'd have an afternoon session. So I've had to learn now to do these things at home, and you can do them with your kids. And I love, there's like, I'm sure if you're on Instagram, you see dad after mom doing their workouts, and then all of a sudden their 3-year-old is doing squats with them. They're doing the air squats. They're doing the jumping jacks. They love it. And so doing those things with your kids, that's part of the dad bod warrior life. And so, Johnny, you were talking about how it's going to be the moms that are going to help with this, this movement of the movies and popcorn. And my goal and my mission and my passion is to have the dads more involved in that nutrition. And that's not been the role, over decades and decades. But my role as a dad was to be involved. I did the shopping. I did a lot of stuff. Like, I love to cook. I love being able to put those flavors together, and I have a palate that allows me to understand, like, oh wow, it's something more, baking, like cinnamon would be good in that, and maybe put this in, or if it's more savory, what spices would work with that. And my kids developed very good palate. So they would eat sushi, they would eat curries, they would eat hot things, they would eat all these great spices and these things. And when you know how to use spices and know how to put that food together, it's such a gift. And I can take 3 cans in my cupboard and put together a meal. So it's not expensive. That's the other thing, is like, people think, well, if I'm going to eat healthy, I can't afford to. I can get out a can of tomatoes, a can of garbanzo beans, an onion, and whatever starch you want, which I don't normally eat. Well, very cheap. It's very expensive, and we can put together a meal that the kids are going to be, asking for more. So that's the goal, is like having dads know how to put that stuff together. And from my experience as a divorced dad, I see that more and more. And so what happens? We go through the drive-throughs. We get takeout, and those aren't always the best food choices for us to make. And the weight starts going on. Our kids are putting on weight. They're not happy because that sugar and that imbalance and that crap food messes with your system. The more I learn about the body, the more I realize what an amazing system we have. And doctors don't know all about it, all the things. The nurses, the scientists. When did we talk about microbiome and gut? Just in the last 10 years. And guess where our immunity stems from? Our gut. Never did we talk about that before. So our gut health right now is one of the most important things that we can be doing. Yes, the mask. Yes, taking care of ourselves. Yes, washing our hands. But if we aren't taking care of our own immune system, so Johnny was saying how everything has sugar in it. So years ago, it was a conspiracy theory. I mean, it was paid off. It's proven. There's documents that the sugar industry was paying off to say that the fat in food was making people fat, not the sugar. It's been documented. It's there. I can get the papers out for you guys if you want it. Fat was then demonized, was ordered to be taken out of food. People are still buying low-fat sour cream. Like, what the hell? Sour cream is supposed to be fat and delicious. Like, stop, guys, stop buying anything that says low-fat. Low-fat yogurt, low-fat sour cream, low-fat anything. Stop. Please, if you do anything, you get anything from my talk, stop. Because the fat makes you full. Our bodies know how to deal with the fat. Sugar, our body doesn't know how to deal with that. And sugar is in everything. They put sugar in everything because everything tasted like crap because they took the fat out, which actually added the flavor. Ah! It's such like a craziness and drives me crazy. So stop fearing the fat in your foods. Our body knows how to process that.
Tim, I love that you're stepping up and taking this leadership, like for dads to take a leadership role in this aspect of the family. It's so important because really this, for our vision of health, that's in the center of every single thing you want to do. Like without that piece of health, everything else in your life can't work as efficiently otherwise. So
right. So, what Johnny and everyone's talking about is living our best self, living our best lives. And what really came to me was when one of my clients came to me and said, on having health, I was just hoping that you could help me lose weight. He didn't even know. So I tell my clients, you don't know that you don't know this. You don't know how good you're going to feel because it's not in your realm of understanding and possibility right now. And that is, it scares me, but it excites me. And to be able to get that control of our bodies and to put the food in, food is nutrition. Okay, we're supposed to be nourishing our bodies with it. We can add all the other stuff, like hopefully the positive stuff, like we can have a fun time with our family with it, but it's not an emotional support. When we're sad, eating sugar is not the way to get out of it.
So you're right. So I learned from you because I remember calling you, I mean, like a baby. I was whining when you were coaching me that, it's the gelato's on sale 2 for 1. And I did really good today. Like I did really good. I don't have a bunch of ices. I just want my ice cream. I want my big 2 quarts of vanilla ice cream. And you showed me that was because of a trigger. In childhood, I used to get rewarded. My mom used to give me vanilla ice cream.
I mean, as a parent, all of us have done it. Like, okay, if you just be quiet for 10 more minutes, you can have a cookie. If you just do your homework, you can have a cookie. If you get straight A's, we're going to go out for ice cream. Like there is such a trigger for all of us that if we do something good, we get good food. So if we do now have a good day, well, I'm going to have the ice cream, but mom or dad's not telling me I only can have 1 scoop, so I'm going to eat the whole half gallon. Or if we have a bad day, well, I'm going to eat that. And people have those comfort foods. And we all have them. We have all those things that we go to. And typically they're not those things that we should be eating. Now, if they're the more fatty foods and they're the healthier, fattier foods, then that's okay. But typically that fat is combined with sugar or it's combined with high carbs. When you have the fat and the carbs together, that's like the worst combination, and that's not going to work for you. So yeah, that's Jody's.
Well, it is what it is.
Let's
talk about that discipline piece, because it's sometimes really hard to say no to the things we really want.
Oh, absolutely. I love that you mentioned that. That's a great question or comment. So what I do and work with people on is finding something that's an exchange. So I mean, I think they do that in like Weight Watchers. They have these exchanges and they have the points. It's not quite like that, but I work with someone and it's finding out what that comfort is. I'm like, okay, well, if you're craving something sweet, try something salty. Again, salt has been demonized. If you sweat and you lick your brow, what do you taste? You taste salt, right? You taste the salt. Our body knows how to get rid of salt. You can overload with salt. If you're not hypertensive, you don't have if you're not having health issues, a normal person can sweat out the salt. You can urinate out the salt. Your body knows how to get rid of it. It doesn't get rid of it. Get rid of sugar through your through sweat. So
I wish we could. That would be great.
That more people would be at the gym.
Yeah.
So my point is, like, if you have a craving for sugar, try salt. Try some. I talked like Johnny asked me the other day, and I said, get some salty almonds. Get salted almonds. Those are great. And then that's why people go for the salted potato chips. It's more that they want the salt. So find something that's salty that you can eat when you have that craving for something sweet. If it's something crunchy, believe it or not, pork rinds. If you're vegetarian, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not going to be the answer. But pork rinds, and I was just like, I thought those things were disgusting. And now pork rinds are one of the things in my cupboard, because again, our body knows how to process that. Potato chips, it's the starch, it's the high glycemic carb in it. People eat Pringles, which aren't even, if there is even potato in there, it's like some potato starch mash and they mushed it all together. It's kind of like they used to make the nuggets. They showed, if you've ever seen those videos of how they make the chicken nuggets, it's like this goo that comes out and it's supposed to be chicken. So there's all this food. The one thing, again, if there's one thing you take away today, stop buying the low fat stuff. The other thing is just look at every single label. And if something is sitting on the shelf, the longer the shelf life, the shorter your life, because it's got preservatives, it's got things in there that are not supposed to be in there to help us live. It's helping that bread be sold and for them to make that money on the bread. It's not helping you. So look at every single label, and if there's things in there that you can't pronounce, don't eat it. If you look hard enough, you will just about always be able to find something that has the fewer bad things in it. And then you also see how much sugar is put in everything. Like, it takes me going and looking at 12 jars of tomato sauce to find the one that did not actually put sugar in it. Mm-hmm. There's sugar in it. There's sugar in your peanut butter. I pick up the healthy, organic, no stir peanut butter, and it adds palm oil, which is destroying forest for orangutans, and it has sugar in it. Like, why do you need either of those? You know what? I get a little workout when I do the stir up the peanut butter, and then I put it in the fridge, and then it's fine. It works. It goes on the bread. You don't need that added stuff in it.
Yeah. What about honey? Is honey good for you? Is it
so honey still has it depends on, so I follow a keto diet, which is not, everyone doesn't have to do that. I'm not saying that everyone does, and paleo diets do allow, and there's certain kinds and forms of eating. It's better for you than sugar, but it's still, what you want to try to do is not raise your insulin a lot. So if you're eating it with something, and you're eating it with some, maybe you're having some meat with it, some protein, and a balance there, then it's not going to spike your insulin that much. But it is better, and it's natural. It's not processed. So those are the things that you look for. Doesn't go through this heavy process. And like, even I do stevia and monk fruit, and I try to find stevia that's the liquid, organic version, because it's not, hasn't been dried and crystallized and like all these things, the dried powder. Like, the liquid one is a pure form of that. So looking for those things, and what starts happening, this is the beauty of it, is that where you start saving money is that your body starts feeling nourished. The cravings, if you give it time, start going away. The reason why you're having the cravings is because you're putting stuff in that's not nourishing your body. You're triggering the wrong gut flora. So you actually have gut flora that can send signals to your brain to eat more sugar. So you have an alien in your body that is telling you to eat sugar. Then you also have the opiate response to sugar that's happening, so that people crave sugar. It's like, duh, of course, because all this is happening. It is a battle. It's literally a battle. And that's why Dad Bod Warrior was created, was to win that battle, win the war over all these things that are being thrown at us. And there are corporate profits. Even Johnny's like, can you believe this? He sent me this thing. Like, there's 10 corporate giants that own like most of the food in the store.
So
like,
yes, no. so let's discuss that, because that segues into our conversation today, which people don't know, and it's a simple thing that we have all the food and clothing in the world to feed and clothe every child, every adult, everyone all over the world. We have it in abundance. We have all the movies and popcorn for every child to be safe and a full stomach and happy, and they can watch their movie like I got to as a child. And the interesting thing is, the food distribution, the food is the majority of the world's food is owned and controlled by about 10 corporations.
And what's happening is there's big farm, and there's big farm now. And it definitely served a purpose in being able to, maximize a plot of land and get the most yield from it. But it's gone a little haywire. And I don't get heavy into politics, but I know there's subsidies for growing more corn and growing more soybean and helping the farmers out in certain ways. I don't, there's a whole history of all that and how we've gone down that rabbit hole. And unfortunately, there's huge, mountains of corn and huge mountains of soybeans that are going to waste because they've been subsidized and farmers grew them and they weren't needed. So it's growing the wrong things. It's subsidizing the wrong things. It's creating the wrong things. The distribution is all out of whack. The ground has been stripped of all the minerals. So that's the other thing. People say, "Oh, I eat healthy, so I don't have to take supplements." Yes, you do, because the ground and the soil is not what it was 50 years ago. So yes, Johnny, if there was an effort to figure out and get the land to be used properly, the right things to be grown, for it to be distributed properly. I mean, this pandemic has been horrible, and yes, the world is been thrown in this craziness. But I saw pictures of Idaho where there were mountains and mountains of potatoes going rotten because the whole distribution system had fallen apart. So now there's people that are hungry and need food, and there's potatoes sitting there going rotten. And for years there's been corn, and there's been soybeans, and there's been all these things that have been grown, and then there's no distribution, or there's no way to actually get it out. So the wrong things are being grown, the wrong things are happening, or a glitch in the system, and all of a sudden, there's all this food and we can't get it out where it needs to go. So is there enough food? There's either enough food or there's the ability to grow the right food to be, taken around the world, and for that we have hunger. Like you said, it's absolutely, it's crazy, and that we live in a world where we allow that. I want to, there was a quote that came to me today, and I was wondering why this came to me. And it says, let me turn on my light so I have my light. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek. That was Obama that said that.
So
in all my personal development studies, so often they say, you have everything you need right now to do what you need to do. And we always keep seeking out. We have everything we need right now to fix all of it, to fix everything. We have everything we need. We keep thinking someone else is going to do it. And this is my guy, and I think he's doing a great job, and not get need. And we keep seeing the wrong places. And if we seek inside, we can see that it's already there. So yes, Johnny, we do have everything we need. We're seeking the wrong things.
The answer is blowing in the wind. And what I'm seeing is these corporations, these 10 corporations or so that are controlling the food in the world, they're mostly men, and they need you, Tim. And they need what you have because they're in need of what you did for me. And as that happens, there's a connection there. And one of their children is going to ask, they're going to see a Global Vision Conference, and they're going to say, Daddy, these people were raising their popcorn cups and talking that every child should have food and clothing in the world. You run the big company with all that food. What do we have to do to get them the food, Daddy? And that's the ways that things happen. They're not doing it because it's the right thing, because profit and greed, runs a lot of these arenas. But a child, all of them, a child speaking to the father, Daddy, it makes him ask, because that's the shift. The wife asks the husband, honey, I saw this show. They're holding up the popcorn cups that children should have food and clothing and movies and popcorn in a fun, inspiring way. They've started this movement. I just signed up on the movies and popcorn Facebook page, and they're sending me these things. Why don't we have food and clothing for every child, honey? that's the way movements happen. That's the way the light gets in. That's the way cascades begin to roll. And so I support your vision. I stand with you, the courage that it's taken to step into it. I honor your father, who was, you know, a healthy man and a strong man who paved the way for you. And I thank you for standing with Jody and I, and all at the last Global Vision Conference. You were the glue. Victor Choi is the glue today, holding everything together. But you had 6, 7 computers going at one time, and everyone's schedule going back and forth. And Jody knows, she was. We were all in it. So you stood with us, and I can't thank you enough for standing with me, being a part of today. I know you're going to be on Facebook answering questions and keeping it going, and you'll be singing "Stand Together" with the Cosmic Twins at 5 o'clock.
I'm going to be on mute. I'll be happy to do that. Wait, I'm doing what?
I know, you never know with me. You never know with me. But yes, you will be we'll all be standing together as we create this movement and the energy that is flowing. And so I thank you for being here today, as we have Anastasia in the green room. Jody, you have any last words for Tim?
Johnny, as you know what I say about Tim to you, Johnny, just listen to Tim.
I'll try to get around you, Tim. Hey, Jody, what do you like the mother going, the kid going to the one parent or the other parent? What do you?
It's funny because I have my clients. I have a couple of clients that are telling me this. Like, you know, I look at that macaroni and cheese and I just say, what would Tim say? So if that's what gets you through, you know, I don't want to be the judgmental guy, but if I be like looking at you like,
keep having that voice. Keep that voice strong.
Yep.
Tim, Epic Dads, be a voice for dads, a voice for nutrition. We stand with you in that, and we will give vision.
Thank you, Tim. Great job.